Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. It blows my mind how this one thing, and it's so simple, can really make a change in your life, in your business, in your company, if you are somebody that leads a team, and maybe you're a business owner. I'm talking about gratitude. Just being grateful and practicing it in the right way with a couple of different tactics, principles, if you will, can really propel you forward. We're going to talk about that, can really change the connections and culture in your business. And she's going to help us out with that. She is a leadership coach, works with people all the time. Gratitude is, I call her a gratitude warrior. That's what she is. Denise Krumlian is back with us. How you doing today?
I love that. Thank you, Steve. I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. And we do have to add that this Saturday it's the 21st, right? Yeah, the 21st is National Gratitude Day, right?
It is. So it's also my birthday. So it makes me very happy that it's National Gratitude Day.
I think like some things are just meant to be, and that definitely is one of them. Mm-hmm. Many of us will hear this, look at it, and say, yeah, I'm grateful. I really am. I'm grateful for what I got. It's all good. But we don't take the next step to practice gratitude in the way that's really going to change our lives. How does it work? Why does it work?
Mm-hmm. It's about the head-heart connection. It's when you really feel the gratitude. You can write something down or you can say something, but if you're not really embodying that feeling, then that's a missing piece. So gratitude really is about that feeling and the emotional response that comes up when you're saying, I really appreciate this, or I'm, recognizing a positive thing that's happened in your life. So it's embodying the feeling, and that's what really can change things for you, because it actually does help with the wiring in your brain. It can help you to, and you can't be thinking about something negative when you're having a true moment of gratitude. So right there, it's no matter how bad things are, you can keep it changes your whole mindset.
Some believe also that when you're grateful, the universe energetically rewards you with more. What are your thoughts on that?
I just said this in a coaching call. There's another coach that it's their actual phrase, but where your energy goes, where your focus goes, energy flows. And so if you're focusing on the negative, then that's where your energy is going to be. But if you're focusing on the positive, then that is going to invite more positivity. So it's the law of attraction to some extent, and it's also just it's what you're choosing to focus on. So we all have the power of choice. And so we can be walking down the street and it's cloudy out. And so you can say, oh, it's cloudy today. Oh, I wish the sun was out. Or you could say, at least it's not raining and I can go for my walk. Right? So something as simple as that. It's just a little tweak, but it can have a really big impact.
The language is key. To your point right there, I used to say this and I've reframed it, but this one phrase, could be worse, could be worse. Now, your intent is a positive intent, but the words that we use subconsciously, I know I'm a little bit of tangent over here, just slightly on the subconscious side. Your mind hears, be worse, be worse. So I believe abolishing all of that potential negative references can support us even more. So I got rid of that phrase.
That's also something that I work on with my clients, is the reframing of even a sentence. So instead of saying, don't do this, I don't want you to do that, it's what do you want? And so as leaders, if we can focus on what we want, whether it's for our culture or for the team performance or the connections that you want to have with your team, focus on what you do want. And talk about it that way with the team too. It's like, instead of saying, like, if something bad happened, oh, we can't do that again, use it as the learning opportunity. What can we do differently? And I appreciate the fact that you've done X, and what else can we do?
Do you feel that many of us don't realize how impactful the stuff we're talking about is?
Absolutely. And I was one of those people. I always thought of myself as a glass half full person, and found myself to be definitely glass half empty at one point, multiple points in my life. And gratitude has really helped change my life. It saved me from some pretty negative consequences, to be.
So let's get into the practice of gratitude. What should we be doing? I know it should be a regular, it should be part of your daily practice. Everything you do, like brushing your teeth, you should be practicing gratitude. That's my belief. I'd love to hear how you feel.
Yeah. I do believe it has a place in everyone's life. And I do want to acknowledge that it can be really hard for some people, especially if they're going through a really hard time. And I want to just separate toxic positivity from gratitude. So because sometimes, oh, you always look at the bright side of things. That's not what we're talking about. It is about, like you said, like it can be, being appreciative that you have a roof over your head, or that you have clean water to brush your teeth with. It's just taking those moments, and by consciously thinking about those things every day, it allows for more of that positivity as you go throughout your day. You start to recognize the positive things that are happening. And it can be I know it sounds a little woo-woo, I will admit, but it can be really magical at times, where you can say, oh, this meeting got moved. But maybe actually the meeting got moved, but look at what it did. It opened up your time to meet with somebody else that you didn't expect to meet with, and you got a really good conversation to move something else forward. So taking that moment to appreciate that situation, instead of like, oh, that meeting just got canceled or moved.
I totally see it. And I want to riff on something you said a moment ago. I'm going to go back to that. But based on your point, I experienced this recently, where I have a marketing company and I have a long-term client that was hinting that they were going to make some changes, not because of performance, but because some people in the firm were retiring, and it just, the structure was changing. And I heard that, I'm like, oh, okay, well, don't want to lose everything, because I love working with them. They get results, but the budget's changed and all. And if this was me 5 years ago, I would have looked at that and said, oh my God, what's going on? I'm like, how can that? And I looked at him for a moment. I was like, I'm like, you know what? This is an opportunity to push forward, to get more business. It's all good. It's all going to work out. I'm not going to worry about it. Finally, get the conversation with them, because they had to postpone a few times. And they're not leaving. They're just adjusting slightly, and they needed information and data to understand why they should adjust slightly and not just, wrap it all up. Just got an email today. I just replied to this email. And basically the wording was, thank you for the analytics. It was a godsend. Everybody on the team now understands what's going on. If we need to make some tweaks down the road, we will. And that's it. And I was like, all right. So instead of worrying about it, I turned it into, in my mind, well, just more opportunities. We'll find another. It's all good. But that wasn't me 5 years ago. Big difference. Big difference. I want to go back to, you said, I kind of laughed inside, toxic positivity. Yeah. I have an idea. I have one person in mind in my world. How do you define that?
That's everybody has a little bit of a lot of people have a different definition of that. For me, it's when you're just, it's almost like the misalignment of actions and words. So you can be saying all these great things about, oh, this is so great, or this culture is so great. But then really what's happening underneath isn't really the reality. And so people aren't feeling what is being portrayed, or it could be somebody else's showing all this great stuff on social media, but then behind the scenes there's a lot of turmoil in their life. So we're promoting this great image, but really it's giving other people this false sense of reality.
I know somebody like that, and we were very close. Probably around 2018, we met, and all good along the way. And I'm still, still a friend, but they changed a little bit, where everything's happy, people are beautiful, everything's wonderful, but at the same time, those actions don't really, those words don't echo some of the actions. And I almost
Mhm.
feel like it's almost a front for something else. Like I can't face reality. So,
Mhm.
the visual I have is, walking through a field with a basket of flowers and everything's all wonderful. But you got to keep it real when it comes to the positivity and the gratitude. And to your
Mhm.
point, I think we should probably talk about this now is feeling the gratitude, it being real. We can write it down, which is wonderful, but until you're really feeling that joy and happiness of what you have, it doesn't work the same. That's my feeling. What do you think?
Absolutely. And this is the part that can be hard for people of really digging deep to feel that. And if I'm speaking from experience, from my own experience of working with other coaches to help myself with my gratitude practice. And one person said to me, you really want to literally feel it in every ounce of your being to the point where you might even start crying. And at first when they said that, I was like, what are they talking about? And when it happened to me, I really got to experience such a gift. And it did. That's when things started to shift for me and change my life. And just seeing the positivity, like seeing things that all the abundance that is already there in my life versus all the things that are wrong or could be wrong. It
Hmm.
really felt that just focusing on that abundance.
Isn't it amazing when you start doing that? And let's keep it real. Life isn't easy.
No,
It's
not.
lots of challenges. Sometimes it can be tough. Sometimes it can be despairing, a drain. Yes, 100%. We're not ignoring any of that. It's the reality. But
Mhm.
isn't it true that when you practice that gratitude and you refocus things a little bit, when things go a little wonky, or you have those moments where it's just like, really, you recover quicker. You
That's
recover quicker. You just like you could even just turn your head this way. And it's like, oh, things are okay. It's really, it's not that bad. We're good. We're good.
mhm.
It's interesting once you start practicing it, but you don't know it until you're doing it. And many of us don't do it because we look at it and say, that's not going to work.
I actually couldn't agree more. The gratitude is the foundation of what I call a resilience routine for
Mm,
myself. And
mm,
then I work with other clients to help them create their resilience routine. So, and it is what you just said, it's the ability to bounce back when you have an adverse situation happen. So, the stresses in our lives, we're not meant, and this is another topic I'd love to talk about burnout at some point, but the gratitude can really help with preventing and overcoming burnout as well because it's shifting that mindset and helping you to reframe situations. So
it,
absolutely.
it's almost like a secret weapon,
Hmm.
like almost like a force field where things try to permeate, your bubble, and
Yeah.
it makes them bounce off because you're in a good place. So what do we do? What do we do, Denise, to practice gratitude? Some suggestions on that?
Yeah, start small and start simple. And it can be you're going for a walk. There's really three parts of gratitude, right? There's recognizing things and acknowledging positive things that are happening in your life. There's that appreciation, which goes into that feeling and the value of the things that are happening. And then sometimes it can also be that it goes to compassion where you want to do something about it, and give back to somebody that has done something for you. And so how do we start practicing it? It can be just with simple, you're on a walk and you're just appreciating what you see around you and just taking that moment, take the earbuds out, just be by yourself, and could be sitting in your backyard. It can be driving in your car even oh, instead of being frustrated about the traffic, you can be like, okay, this gives me a moment to breathe. And so all is well,
Wow.
and yeah, it can be just simple.
I do that. But I never thought of that as being practicing gratitude, but it really is. I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it was more of when I take a walk, I'm getting back into nature. I'm grounding myself. Of course, I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. I don't have a lot of time to do that, but when I do, it's like I need this. This makes me feel good. But I never thought of it that way in terms of appreciating it, a la gratitude.
Mhm.
What about those things? I keep a gratitude journal. I try to more regularly write in it. Very simple stuff. Um, do you do that? And what other suggestions can you give us?
Yes, I think we talked about our journals, right? A little bit. So
Hmm.
the 5 minute journal is the one. I'm not promoting any specific one, but that's the one I've been
What
using.
tell no, all right, please please, because I'm at that crossroad where I just had a conversation with somebody the other day about journaling. Now I keep a gratitude journal. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for, and it just I believe we need direction. We have
Yeah.
GPS. Get in the car, it goes. So yeah, I write the date. I am grateful for. I write 3 things, maybe 4, but usually I target 3. And they can
Mhm.
be anything. I'm sitting there first thing in the morning, could be lying in bed, maybe just got up, and I'm just like thinking, getting in my head. What am I grateful for? Hmm. Wow. Yeah, I'm grateful that my junky 25-year-old Jeep that I use for fun, going kayaking, is running great this year.
Mhm.
Wow. I'm grateful for you, man. I love you.
Mhm.
I am. I really, really am. We have fun together, me and my little dumb little
Mhm.
Jeep. Um,
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
You
Let
can
me.
do that, absolutely. Just the journal, like you don't need to have a specific journal. Sometimes people like that when they're starting to have prompts. And so journals will have things like what are 3 things that would make today great? What setting your intention. How do you want to be? So not just like what do you want to have happen or what do you want to get done, but how do you want to show up? I have a my mantra is happy, peaceful, calm, grateful. And so like that's something that I just hold on to start my day is like what's going to make me happy, peaceful, calm, grateful today. And
Hmm.
that's a place of being. And you said something other critical thing there, which is a lot of times when you first wake up in the morning, there's this like something creative that happens when you first get up before like the first 5 minutes, they say is a great time to do this because it's almost like a subconscious thing and it can help you set your day up. So if you can get in that habit.
It's a fresh start, really. Right?
Yeah, every day.
What was that thing you said? The 5 minute journal.
Yeah, so that's the one I've been using. A friend of mine, thank you, Aspen, mentioned this one to me, and so it's really simple. It literally takes less than 5 minutes, and it says, "I am grateful for," and you list the 3 things. What would make today great? And list 3 things, and then daily affirmation. And the other thing that you said, I really liked what you said about "I am." That's another thing from a coaching perspective that we talk about is I am this. So even if it's something you're striving for, I am healthy or I am happy. Like you can write these things in the here and now, even if it's something that you're working on.
Ooh. Um, 5 minute journal. Is that what it's called? We
Yep.
search on Amazon. That should come up.
Yep, absolutely. And is Intelligent Change is the company. IntelligentChange.com. They have their own website, or you can get it on Amazon.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, then you also reflect what were the highlights of the day and what did I learn today are the 2 other
Love
aspects.
that. Love that. And it's really almost like a check in.
Hmm.
How are you? Well, I am. And there you go. You shared one. I just learned this one. Just downloaded it. Free app. It's called How We Feel,
Hmm.
and it identifies your emotions. So you'll you'll click it how you're feeling at the moment. It's the emotion. Then it drills down a little bit deeper, then a little bit deeper, to really identify what's going on with you. And then it records it and completely free. Like there's no like ads showing up. It's donation based. If you want to donate a little bit here, whatever. But it's free, so it's called How We Feel. I
Oh, cool.
just heard about it, just downloaded it. Even this morning, I was just going through it. But from what I can tell, it's kind of the same. Just it's like checking in with yourself.
Yeah. And some people prefer that online versus writing. There is something scientifically, I'm not a scientist, however, the things I've
Yeah.
learned is the hand-head connection. So writing with a pen can sometimes help to embody things as well. So
100.
I'm old school.
I am such a big proponent of that. I was even going to treat myself. It's kind of pricey, but there's a thing called Remarkable. So, I
Mhm.
keep notebooks and things like that. I was going to, maybe jump over to that because I have friends that are using that for work and everything else. So, another tool in the arsenal. But
Yeah.
even that app that I described, it's not you writing. This is more of, it's like just circles of emotions. Yeah, that's me.
Mhm.
Then it expands upon that. That's me there. That's me. Then deeper to really identify what are you feeling? What's going on there?
Also keeping your identity, you're taking a moment to reflect and check in with yourself. And
Yeah.
that's a huge piece of the gratitude practice too. It's not just about what am I grateful for externally, but what am I grateful for about myself?
Hmm. We have a lot to be grateful for, and I know you've heard it before. Your parents have said it, but it's kind of true. When you really think about it.
And the benefits are like it's not just about your itself too, and you're going back to leadership and starting with yourself, though, is really important because that's how you show up. If you're coming from that place of gratitude, when you go into your work environment, it's going to show. The energy that you exude is going to show when you're coming from a place of abundance versus that of scarcity or time crunch or whatever. And it can not only improve the health for yourself, but it can improve your culture and the health of your people because they're going to and help the connections with your people and it'll help you to also be able to be more compassionate. So going back to that culture of and framework we've talked about is, the connection and compassion. And then when people feel that trust and connection, they're also going to be more committed. So it can go a long way for your work as well.
Do you feel that once you're going down the gratitude highway that you just start moving even faster and that becomes your mode of operation and you don't even know you're doing it after a while?
Yes, and sometimes you fall off the gratitude wagon too.
Oh,
So
sure. Of course.
it can be both, but yes, once you get in the habit of that in itself becomes resilient. You bounce back onto the horse really quickly because you see
Yeah.
the benefits and the value of it. So you might like again, I want to recognize that it's not easy for everybody, and I've had clients that have said that, and so it's worth it though. So taking
Yeah.
and starting small, and then building on it. It doesn't have to be a half-hour meditation every day. It can be literally anywhere at any time.
That's the key takeaway here. It's worth it. You may not see it now, but it's been proven and we wouldn't be still talking about it and millions of people doing it. I mean tens of millions of people practicing it. And I've even found myself even returning an email and looking for, I don't want to say the rose colored glasses because that goes back to the toxic positivity, but looking at it through a different lens where I'll find a way to say thank you to somebody genuinely at the start of an email. And I didn't even realize it, but that I'm giving, there's gratitude. Whatever, maybe somebody sent you an email and just, an idea or something. Thank you for that idea and then continue on. I don't try to do it. It just shows up. Like there's always something to be grateful for. It's just,
It is.
you
That's
find
it.
it. You find it.
And that person that's receiving that's such a gift for them because then they feel the value of how you're feeling. So it's like this positive cycle that happens like where the energy can really it shifts the energy. And I've had work situations where I have that type of connection with my team, and I know that when come from it, I've come from it with a place of gratitude. It's just made the work day so much better and the results so much better too.
For everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here. Your company, your culture, your team. What was the phrase? I've heard it before, but I always get it confused. The attention goes where the energy,
Where your focus goes, energy flows.
where your focus goes, energy flows.
Hmm.
I don't know why I can't remember that.
I know sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Mhm.
How do we find you, Denise? If somebody wants to refocus their attention, what's the best way?
Sure, they can connect with me on LinkedIn, and also my website, denisekrumlian.com. And just a little thing, because of it being World Gratitude Day on Saturday, I'm going to be hosting a little gratitude moment. So if people are interested, they can sign up right on my website at denisekrumlian.com at my contact page.
Love that. Fantastic idea, by the way. And I will be sharing what we talked about today, and also the fact that it's World Gratitude Day on Saturday. And so fabulous. That's also your birthday. I mean, my gosh. Like, if the planets and the stars and everything align right, that's an example of that right there.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for today. We'll talk soon, all right?
Sounds great. Thank
Thanks.
you.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.